Hiya folks, it's Rich here. How you all doing? I'm the novice guitarist, the novice noisemaker. Just a novice at life, really. Yeah, for those who don't know me, I like guitars. I ain't very good at it, but I like them. I've had quite a few now. I think this is number 152 or 3. Would have to check the spreadsheet. Look how big my ears are. That flap. That's like the butterfly effect. There's going to be a tsunami somewhere now. Sorry about that. Anyway, yes, so as you know, I'm going through a bit of a Chapman phase. So what have I got on my hand here? It's another Chapman. Now, this is a Chapman. This is a hybrid standard. I have 4 of these in the Carly Sunset colour. And when I appreciated Chapman's less at the time, I kept getting them and thinking, oh, I don't know, I don't like the switch position and don't know, just didn't gel with them. But of course, now, as you'll see in the background, it's I have Chapmai, plural, many Chapmais, and I love them. And you get a lot of guitar for your money. So just a quick reminder of what you get with the hybrid. They stopped making this. I'm just going to show you the Chapman ML1-X, which I've got as well, which is very similar to this. So you get mahogany body and you get this reveal binding. So this is not binding that's put on, it's the colour of the wood underneath that they reveal. You get an arm cut here, this particular one, and I think this is the nicest of the 3 colours they did. Sarsen Stone or something like that it's called. It's a really nice quilt kind of top. HSS, these are 6.5k and this is 15. So you've got some smoothness and some oomph. A 2-point trem on here with a, oh, I shouldn't really just pull it out because it's fairly tight. Oh well, a push-in arm, which is good. Needs tightening up a bit for me. Yeah, 2-point trim and the full-size block at the back. Even the back plates are recessed, which is apparently a Rabea thing. I thought it was a Rob Chapman thing. Rabea was like, that's annoying when you buy a Fender Strat, for example, and they're mounted on the top, or any other guitar. Let's recess them, so that's nice. 250k pots, I think, in here. I need to check the spec on that. I love the strap buttons that they do. They're not locking, but these big sort of mushroomy ones, Ibanez do those as well. And the PRS do those. Can't remember, I've had quite a few. Anyway, I really like these ones. It's much harder if your strap to fall off. A 9.5-inch radius on a roasted maple neck. Now, this is second-hand, obviously, this guitar. You can see the guy is strung, gone around the tuners the wrong way round, and it's got 11s on it. It's fret on this need cleaning. It's been on these walls since December 2011. The poor fella's got some sort of injury to his shoulder, and which is affecting his hand, some nerve problems. He can't play. He's got some big amps and some nice guitars, so he's sort of thinning out his collection. So it needs a bit of a clean up and a restring. Recessed, high access heel joint for your 22nd fret. And I've found all the Chapmans I've got are pretty easy to get up there. You get a graphite nut as well, and like all the Chapmans I've had, seem to be cut really well. And the tuners are very similar to those you'd get on a PRS SE or a Fender Mexican. So yes, a lot of value for money. I paid £250 for this second hand. I think when they came out they were $599. Oh, this is one characteristic of all of my Chapmans apart from my ML3 Pro, and it's not just Chapman's other guitars as well. The output jack, the little nut is a bit loose, a bit lazy really. You shouldn't just tighten them without taking them out, ideally, because you can screw them up. Yeah, the neck joint is nice and tight on these. Nice little sort of scoop here, and the reveal binding goes around the edges here. So you get a lot of guitar for money. My only tiny gripe at the minute, well, I say gripe, that's a bit strong. So the current Chapman Standard series has all gone up a little bit in price. Now the Andertons are forever doing sales on them, so you know, don't pay full price if you can avoid it. I mean, I still think they're worth it, don't get me wrong, but the current Standard series now, which don't have a roasted maple neck, they're yeah, a bit like the ML1-X, they're $599. So you get them to Fender Mexican money, and it depends what's important to you. You get more features on one of these than you would with a Fender Mexican, but obviously you've got a stronger brand with your Fender because the resale on these is poor. I just sold my ML1 traditional for £214. God, I mean, what a lot of guitar you get for 214 quid. Crazy. But yeah, Chapman's good value for money. So this is the ML1-X, which I've sold. I'm replacing it with this, which is also HSH. Both mahogany. This is actually a bit heavier, but ultimately they've got the same pickups in them. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the Venus Witch and the Sonorous, I believe they're the same pickups in them. So it's two HSSs, and this is prettier, and I really like the roasted necks. 9.5-inch radius on both of these, and they're similar kind of. It's a bit hard to tell because of the colour, but they're very similar feeling. They are not as thick a neck as a Fender standard, like a Fender Mexi. They're a bit thinner than that, so they're just a little bit nicer to play, and rolled fretboard edges. Yeah, all the hybrids I've had, this is the 5th one now, the rolling on the fretboard edges is good and the frets are really nice. So this one was a bit unfortunate, they're a bit scratchy on here, which is unlike Chapman's. So yeah, so these are basically the same guitar, really. So yeah, that's all this, and I've sold this for the same price I bought this one for. So it hasn't cost me anything to swap and have a prettier guitar, in my opinion, with a nicer roasted neck. It's a small thing as well. See the knobs on here? They're bigger than the knobs on here. I like these bit smaller ones, and actually when you're changing the pickup selector, which contrary to popular belief, is not really that much of a hassle, even though it's kind of back here. I mean, the PRS SE standards, I've got it down here. It's actually easy enough when you to move it around, but these knobs make it a tiny bit easier because they're smaller. Just finger don't get in the way as much. Yeah, so one last thing before we go. Roasted neck on my ML3 Pro. Look, they're a different kind of roast from these two different factories. Where they come from? You've got one's a lot lighter than the other. Look, it's a lot lighter. So I'll pick that up on the camera a little bit. Which one do you prefer, the darker one or the lighter one? Maybe the darker one looks a bit nicer. Don't know. They're both nice. That's a lovely guitar, by the way. £1,000's a lot of money, it really is. But it's a beautiful guitar. So there we go. Shall I plug it in? You're probably bored now. I'm going to plug it in just for a second anyway. No, I'm not. I'm going to do a quick video on how this one sounds versus the ML1-X. Anyway, let me know what you think to this and if you've got one. Cheers, Rich out.